Hey guys, this is Jericho and
Hello, everybody. This is ShneekyTheLost.
we are here to present a brand new series on blood magic for 1.10.2 to let you see all the changes from 1.7.10.
And there are quite a few changes for us to do. Of course, not really a whole lot of documentation on blood magic out there, especially not in the higher tiers. So consider this the in-depth guide and tutorial on how to get started and get going.
Now, luckily for you, if you've been watching any of my other series, you know that I'm basically a complete idiot when it comes to doing anything except for Britannia or chickens. If there's chickens involved, you know I can do it. So I drafted Sneaky in because he posted these awesome things over to the FTB showcase forums telling you how to do things. And I'm like, well, if we put this on camera and let other people actually see how to do it, that might be a good idea. So I figured I'd put my beautiful face with the sunglasses on screen. We'll put Sneaky's beautiful brain on screen and see what happens.
Hey, sounds like a good idea to me. So let's get started, shall we?
Yeah, let's get this thing going. What do we do
All
first?
right.
Are we going to take over the world right now?
Yeah, well, right now what we're going to need is to harness the demonic will of hostile mobs. And to do that, we're going to need to hit them with a rudimentary snare and then kill them mercilessly. And then we will be able to snare their demonic will.
That sounds scary.
Yeah, so I've got the recipe right here. It's just 4 string, 4 iron, and a piece of redstone. Very early, after your first mine dive, you should be able to have these resources. We spent a little bit of time just getting our basics set up, the mining dive up, something other than a noob hut or a hovel of shame, because you've seen somebody punch a tree a million times. You don't need to see that again. So let's go ahead.
We've been on the server for like 2 days now, so we've got a farm set up. Got this beautiful 3-story house built. Even got this Ender Dragon carpet going on. This designer, one of a kind, that I've only got about 24 pieces of. So we've got snares. That was 4.
So we got
snares too, or just you? We need more snares.
Here, you can have a couple of snares. I can have a couple of snares, and we can show off what these things do. And it happens to be nighttime outside, so let's go out and find something that preferably won't blow up.
All right. Let's go whack something. I think I saw somebody back here that needed to be whacked.
All right.
Well, I see a blower upper.
Yeah, I see that too. I'm not a big fan of those blower uppers.
I got a creeper and a skeleton over here.
Okay.
And I don't like either one of those. Let me see what my other options are. Pigs. Can you whack pigs?
No, it has to be a hostile mob. And now it looks like the skeleton and the creeper don't like me much.
Oop, I missed.
So here's what I'm going to do. Whack. Whack. No, it did not trigger.
Yeah, I know. I'll whack. I threw my snares at it and missed too.
No, I hit it. It just didn't trigger. You need particle effects for it to actually proc. So
yeah, that's what I mean. It didn't do anything for me.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like we were not successful in that endeavor. I'm going to go make a few more real quick. I figured out of 4 of them, at least one of them would work.
Yeah,
here we go.
I'm going to eat real quick because I'm already done with belt. Now, we do have the mob farm that we built. We can go down there if we wanted to.
Yes, we can. Absolutely. If you wanna do that, we can definitely do that.
By the way, this is the farm we set up. I'll just show that off on camera really quick. This big old cobblestone building here takes you down into the amazing mine that Sneaky dug out while I was at work the other day. It goes way, way down, and there's all kinds of stuff down there. Got all kinds of stuff going on. I will take pride in my house building skill, though. I love the way the house turned out, and I built all that. I'm happy with that.
Oh, yeah, you do a great job with that. Here, have some more snares.
Woo, more stuff. All right, let's go whack something.
All right, how about this? Let's go downstairs and go to the place that we had already set up for whacking. Okay. There's this area that spawned down here. First off, we found a spawner here originally, but unfortunately there was a creeper who was rather unhappy with us and expressed his displeasure explosively, and it blew up the spawner, which was kind of a shame.
Yeah, that was my famous turpitude that caused that one. I didn't see the creeper until he exploded all over me, and that was just not very much fun.
Yeah, but then we went over here and we saw these stone bricks, and at first we were like, hey, wait a minute, did we just find an end stronghold? This is apparently something that I believe, let's see, what was it?
We think Dark Utilities added all this.
Yeah, Dark Utilities, we think. However, if you know what makes these things, tell us. Let us know in the comments, and we will absolutely be able to get that done. Now, what I've done here, very, very simple. There were a couple of mob spawners in here. What I have done is put them in there. I used what's called a moving wand from 2 mini wands, which can just
stick in his hand.
Yep, and they just boom and take it up, boom, put it down, and it can move spawners. So that's what I use to set up this room. I've got some dark glass from Extra Utilities too, and I've got some vector plates from Dark Utilities in there, pushing them down here, and then you've just got your vanilla spawner. So here's what we're gonna do. Let's go ahead and bink. Nope, that didn't work. Bink. That didn't. Aha! You see, he's got particle effects, so we're gonna kill him off, and got a will from it.
Yeah, I don't think any of mine worked. Oh, I see one. Somebody's got particle effects, whacking stuff. I can't tell which one it is. Somebody's got it though. Alright, nobody is giving me wills. Are you getting more wills out of this?
Yeah, I got a will. So that is the introductory noobitude way of getting wills. That is how you have to start off. But now that we have a will, we can do something a lot more interesting.
I was having one good enough because I got 0 of them.
One will actually be good enough for this.
Okay.
What we're going to need to do is we are going to need to make a lesser tartaric gem, because this demonic will has 2.76 wills in it, and that's going to be more than enough for what we're going to need to do.
Oh, okay. So we're going to make a tartar gem.
A petty tartaric gem, yes.
Do I have to scrape my teeth to get that stuff? I mean, the dentist does a pretty good job, but... bad joke.
That's actually a good one. That's a good one. But this is Tartarus, as in the underworld.
Oh,
okay. Not tartar, as in the sauce that you put on fish.
So not the god of bad cavities or anything like that. Got it.
Now to do that, we're going to need a demonic forge.
Okay. I'm going to decorate the room.
And that's going to be a block of iron, 2 iron ingots, a gold ingot, and 4 smooth stones. So fortunately, we've got that stuff. We'll need an iron ingot, or 2 iron ingots, a gold ingot, a iron block. I love these compacting drawers where you can pull blocks or ingots or nuggets as you need. It's just absolutely great. Let me go ahead and pull some stone out of this thing, and then we will craft.
By the way, Sneaky here added the entire basement himself, and I'm jealous. Like, I love the way my house turned out, but the basement looks even better with all the cool cobblestone chisel going on, and the cool red lasers. I mean, red lasers make everything better.
Well, yeah, everything's better with lasers.
He's got a forge.
So
he
now we've got the Hellfire Forge. Well, I went ahead and I made it back there. But you can check out the recipe in JEI. Very straightforward. A little bit iron intensive, but by this stage, by the time you get redstone, that should not be a problem. So to make our petty tartaric gem, let's go ahead and check that recipe in JEI. And then, of course, you've got your own Hellfire Forge tab there. And then if you mouse over the little arrow, you'll see minimum 1.00 will and drained 1.00 will. That means you need at least 1 will to make this gem, and it will drain 1 will from the gem. So since I have 2.76 will in there, we put in the stuff that we need, and it should give us, it should have 1 and a fraction left. So that's going to be a redstone, gold ingot, a lapis or blue dye, and any kind of just glass, clear glass.
Well, I've got lapis on me right now, so I'll throw 2 of those in.
Well, you only need 1.
Oh, we're just going to make 1 of these. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I throw 1 of those in. You got the other
there
stuff.
There you go.
Do I need to make glass, or do we have any glass sitting around?
I'm going to try and see if thickened glass works for this recipe. And
No.
it does not. No. So I'm just going to go grab some sand and smelt that upstairs real quick. Shouldn't take more than a couple of seconds since we do have automated smelting already.
Yeah, now the mod pack we're playing, I'll tell you about while he's doing that, is a custom mod pack that he and I threw together the other night. It's not one you can find on Curse. It's just a very simple mod pack that it's all centered around blood magic. So it has 2 blood magic add-ons and some just quality of life, like you see the actual edition stuff. It's got better, not enough wands in it, iron chest, got iron backpacks. You see I'm wearing a backpack over here. He's got his backpack too. It's just got some basic stuff in it, Pam's Harvest Craft, to make life a little bit better for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's very, very, very lightweight. It's even more lightweight than ShneekyCraft, which is pretty infamous for being very lightweight mod pack. But the reason why we're doing it this way is because regardless of what pack you're in, this is going to work. So we put that in there. You see that go up, and boom, we've got a petty tartaric gem. Ooh. This is basically a battery for demonic wills. Now, Jiraiku and I did some grinding off camera. And so we had actually gotten the next step, and I want to show you this next step. You see this petty tartaric gem in here. We're going to go ahead and make an iron sword and put that in there with that petty tartaric gem. So just a regular vanilla iron sword. Bam. 6 attack. Okay. Throw that in there. And now it's creating it. And this actually takes no will whatsoever. So any kind of will do it. And bam, we have a sentient sword.
Nifty.
Now the sentient sword is awesome because it will basically have that snare effect with any mob it kills. So you no longer need to use the gimpy little old snares anymore. But we did a bit of off-camera grinding because, this could be very grindy at first. So we just went down there and spent a little bit of time, shall we say, with the stuff. So, but sentient swords are always going to be useful. As you'll notice, mine has taken a lot of durability damage. They will break. So having another sword on hand, never a bad idea. But these sentient swords are really what you're going to be using to get the wills with. You don't really want to be using any snares once you get to that point. Just boom, boom, you got your sword. Now you can go grind out your wills. And one other thing I would like to point out, if you do this early game and you just use your sentient sword as what you use to gank mobs that are trying to kill you, as you progress through the game, you'll find that your wills will just kind of passively grow. Because as you're killing mobs, you're getting wills. So if you just hold off until you're already super established and then decide to do nothing but blood magic, it's very, very grindy because you have to get all those wills. But if you just kind of do it naturally, you do your Hovel of Shame, you do your first mining dive, and then you make your sentient sword, as you're progressing with the rest of the stuff, it'll grow with you. And that's one of the things I really like about this mod is these tools that we're making right now, the very first tools, will grow with us and we will keep and continue to use throughout this entire series. They will never become obsolete.
So long story short, boys and girls, do this at the beginning. Don't wait and get other stuff going first.
Yeah, because then it'll just be a lot of pointless grinding. Now we've got the sentient sword, which is awesome. Let's kick this up a notch. To do that, we're going to need a lesser tartaric gem. And a lesser tartaric gem is going to need a petty gem, a diamond, a block of redstone, and a lapis block. And it's going to require a minimum of 60 will, but only 20 of it is going to be drained. Well, I happen to have a full petty tartaric gem with 64 will in it. So I'm going to put that over here on the right-hand side of the Hellfire Forge and use that to fuel this.
We did a lot of grinding. We probably spent about an hour grinding off camera.
I wouldn't say an hour, but there was a bit of off-camera grinding time. But again, if you're just doing this as you go through it, it's actually not that bad. It's just only when you're waiting until the very end that it can be a little grindy. So we're going to do that. And we've got this thing, it's going, and bam,
Oof.
lesser tartaric gem. Now this can hold up to 200 will.
Actually, 256 on the tooltip.
Yeah, 256 in the tooltip. Now, what are we going to need with 256 will? I'm glad you asked.
So yes, what are we going to need with 256 will?
Well, what we're going to do is we are going to make ourselves a very, very useful piece of protective gear called the Sentient armor.
Okay, that sounds like fun. By the way, do I need some of this stuff too, or is it just having one of them good enough?
Well, you're going to need, because the thing is, if you look up the Sentient armor gem in JEI,
I've got that pulled up.
Okay, you'll notice it requires a diamond chest plate, and yes, that is expensive, but we'll get into why that's useful in a moment. It will consume a lesser tartaric gem, and it requires a minimum 240 will to create this, and it will drain 150 will. So yes, you are going to need 2 lesser gems, one to be consumed and one to fuel the process.
Okay. So what do I do?
So I'm going to make me a second lesser tartaric gem, and now we just need a whole bunch of will.
So do I need one of those swords too?
Yeah, you're going to need a sword too.
Okay, let's make a cut real quick. We'll pause the recording. We'll get some stuff made up, and then we'll go get some wills and then come back. How about that?
All right, sounds great. Let's cut.
All right, cut. And we're back. We spent 39 hours down there, the last day and a half, grinding out zombie after zombie after zombie. I could be over-exaggerating just a hair. It was more like 10 or 15 minutes. But 39 hours sounds more manly and tough. And we got some zombie heads, we got some iron, we got some zombie jerky, and we got some more cool toys. You see, my first sentient sword is done in nothing. So, got a second one so I can go whack more stuff. And Sneaky here made all that stuff for me, thankful to him. And he's ready to tell us what to do next.
All right, so having consumed pretty much a whole sentient sword's worth of endurance, killing off mobs, we now have lesser gems that are completely full with 256 will, which, by the way, means that our attack now is like 8 or so. So, there is that. And that's one of the reasons the sentient swords are so awesome, because as you get more wills, it does more damage. So it'll grow with you.
But now my used up sword says 8 attack, but my brand new one says 4 attack.
Yeah, and it'll change the moment you whack something that takes damage from the sword.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so next thing we're going to need is some protection, because we're pretty soon going to need some nether materials, and that's a really dangerous place. So we need something to be able to keep the slings and arrows of outrageous mobs off of us. So what we're going to do, we're going to need a lesser tartaric gem for this one. What we're going to make is a sentient armor gem.
Haha. Okay, I've got that pulled up in JEI.
Yeah, and if you'll notice as you mouse over that arrow, minimum 240 will, and drained 150. So this is not going to be cheap. And if you look at that, you need a diamond chest plate, an obsidian, a block of iron, and an empty lesser tartaric gem.
That's a whole lot of stuff.
It is a whole lot of stuff, but it's a whole lot of worth it too. And that's a sentient armor gem. And basically what that does is bam.
Whoa. Dude, you just transformed into like Mega Man here. What? And then he's back again.
Yeah, this stuff is, yep, okay. In that case, here you go. It is diamond heavy, granted, but this stuff is right out of the gate as good as diamond gear. And it only goes up from there as you get more wills. Because as you have more wills, this stuff gets even better.
Okay, so let's see here. If I hit this button. Whoa. I'm Mega Man too. Mega Man.
Now, the other fun thing about this is the armor will repair itself using your wills. So as you kill mobs and gain their will, it keeps the armor in full repair, so it will never break on you.
Wait, say that again? It will repair itself?
Yes, it will repair itself with the wills in your tartaric gem. Think of it like powered armor, only using wills instead of redstone flux.
Ooh, that's nifty right there. And it still shows my sunglasses under the bottom of it.
Yep. And so, yeah, it's a little bit pricey, especially with, what was it? Effectively 9 diamonds, including the one in your lesser gem. But you've got a whole suit of effectively diamond plus armor that will never break.
And this is enchantable too?
Oh, well, yes and no. Here's the thing. The sentient swords are enchantable.
Okay.
The sentient armor, what you do with that is if you have just regular, normal armor that you are wearing, and then you use your sentient armor gem, it will swap out the armor that you're wearing for the sentient armor, and it will also carry over the enchantments. So, for example, if you've got, like, say, iron armor or gold armor that's completely, gold armor is about as good as butter, but it has high enchantability. Say you had them with, like, protection enchantments or fire resist enchantments, those enchantments will carry over to your sentient armor if they're on you when you click this bad boy.
That's pretty nifty. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it can be useful, especially at this early tier in the game before you really start getting involved. It's a very defensive, protective piece of armor. A lot of people kind of skip this step because they wait for a while and then they just grind all the way up to a tier 3 blood altar so they can get the other suit of armor that this mod provides. But I really think this is a really good piece of gear. Hang on 1 second,
okay?
Sure.
Okay, now I'm back. Sorry about that. I've got really noisy roommates who like to scream a lot.
Not a problem. I understand entirely. So, yeah, I mean, as you're wandering around here, I mean, we are now geared to be able to kill, whatever we want to kill. Ender Bros, sure, no problem.
We need to go find some of those.
Yeah. And, of course, you check your armor, having been just hit with some arrows, you'll notice your armor is not damaged.
Interesting. Now, that hurt. I took a pretty good bit of damage there, but it didn't hurt the armor.
Yeah, well, keep in mind, you were also standing right next to a creeper that would normally, like, take over half, more like 2/3 of your health.
Yeah, I wanted to test and see what kind of damage it would do.
Yeah. Explosive damage is a different type of damage in Minecraft, but it should have at least reduced that. But, those arrows, they're not doing jack squat to you, man.
No, you're right about that.
That is a witch. That is a problem. You, my dear, are going away.
Gone.
Yeah,
I didn't
no.
get anything from her. All right, so we've got about 5 minutes left in this episode. Do we want to do a sneak peek in the Nether, or do we want to call it quits here and get ready for episode number 2 of the series?
Yeah, let's go ahead and cut it here then. So this has been, just your basic introductory steps. Notice we haven't even created a blood altar yet. We haven't gotten into the blood aspect of the mod yet. We're just so this is very, very, very early game content you can do just after your first dive into branch mining, and you can get right into it. And I'll be honest with you, this is probably the most protective piece of early game armor available to you, especially with the fact that they, don't ever break. So definitely something designed specifically for the early game that you can get into right off the bat.
Very, very cool. In that case, in episode 2, we're going to come back and what are we doing? We're going to make a blood altar then?
Yeah, we can get into the actual blood aspect of the blood magic, and that area downstairs over by the grinder is probably going to be a really good area to set that up.
So we're not going to be sacrificing villagers and pigs. We're going to stick to sacrificing hostile mobs.
Yeah, pigs don't really generate a whole lot of LP when you sacrifice them, unfortunately. And sacrificing villagers, while extremely amusing and entertaining, does carry some consequences that we are not equipped to deal with.
Okay, yeah, stay away from consequences. I like that whole consequence-free lifestyle.
Yeah, same here. So we'll start off by killing off zombies, and we'll work our way up to villagers.
Okay. So I guess that's going to be it for this episode. This has been Draco here. Thank you for coming out.
And this is ShneekyTheLost, signing off.
See you later, guys.